Not something you see every day.
I'm scared for my script.
Your script?
My prediction.
The cat's out of the bag. Hold on.
Let's just say that Medusa is looking a little bit dicey of a pick. Yes, there are scenarios where you can make it work. I believe Nigma had it backfire in their face yesterday, even after going for the Rapier rush. This is the type of game where I could see a Rapier being effective, but have any like protection, right? So if they get on top of Medusa, you're just kind of done in this type of game, right? So you're probably going for the more tanky, mana shield dependently or mana pool dependent style of play. But then who's doing the damage to this lifesteal, this Void Spirit, this Slardar? Lim's gonna have to carry this game for a good 25 minutes. And when I say carry, I mean like he's basically gonna have everyone pulled on top of his back, and he's still gonna be in tiny level 1 form. Okay, it's gonna be
yeah. He's going to be hurling them over his shoulder like he does with that gigantic tree. Luckily, it's one of his best heroes, and it has been for a very, very long time. So the comfort's there. I mean, that's really what you want to go for in a game 5. Nothing crazy. Don't try and break the wheel or anything like that. Just go with what works for you. And I feel like this is something that Nico Baby particularly would have been asking for. You know, give me something like the Medusa where I can carry the rest of my team once Lim gives me the space to do so.
Definitely. And I'm not saying the Alliance can't win this at all. I'm just saying the way that Medusa has been functioning in these drafts, it's similar to when you see a team draft the Nag. Like, okay, you just forfeit that you're not present for a very long time. And I will say that Nigma look like they have a slight advantage when you consider the way they function in the laning phase and immediately beyond, right? There's definitely a lot more ramp up there. Because if a Medusa has a good start, you don't really turn it into aggression. You just keep farming. And you're like, this is great, guys. Just go do something elsewhere. I don't want to be part of this. I just want to be left to my own devices. Lifesteal has a good start. It's armlet and then aggression.
Yes. The one thing is, if Alliance do get on the more advantageous side of the early-ish game, the high ground defense isn't incredibly strong on Nigma's side. It's not like they have something like a sniper that can just easily repel the siege that's going to be coming through from Nico Baby. And any sort of incorrect positioning is going to be heavily punished by Alliance's side. It's just, how do they get there? How do they get to that late stage of the game where he's got these early items, he's going to be able to do a lot of this ballista damage onto the tier 3 towers and the rest of the high ground.
And a big bridge part is Limp and what he can do. He's likely to go for that blink type build. It's not one of these greedy tinies where you can just try and farm into your AC, your crits, and just run. But there will be a conversion point where if you can actually make that gap close from being the blink dagger initiator into the hard hitter himself, then you have 2 fortresses on the side of Alliance. And then you're looking at the side of Nigma, and then you're going, yeah, you have this AA, but you don't, for example, have any hero that's going to build a spirit vessel in this game, which could hurt you later on, especially early on, even with the timber, right? So you're really on your AA, you're really on Kuro to perform like a god and make sure that these kind of regenerative, these tanky elements of Alliance cannot exist.
I was about to say we're looking at another tri-lane coming from Alliance, but Fada TPing down to the bot side, making sure that Nico Baby's going to have a decent game, because a huge portion of this relies on him getting to that later stage. If he's doing all right at 30-ish minutes, going to be doing all right, but is it going to get to that stage? The pressure might be a little bit too much from Nigma, but time will tell. Interesting build by GH as well, going in the crown into the 3 ironwood branches. Oh, mind control is getting very low.
Some pressure being applied on all lanes, but no one dying outright just yet. Mind control always have the ability to just back up. Is you trying to run into a Skywrath, and especially when he has that slow level. The best thing you can do is just trade straight into his face, though. Like, if GH allows them to get close, this is a hero with 1 armor. He feels every hit. But you do have to keep you have to keep that damage always churning on top of him.
Especially with that Fairy Fire as well. Just that little bit of extra damage coming from the snap. Able to trade pretty well against the Skywrath Mage.
Meanwhile, Skywrath GH is actually keeping a lot of pressure on Nico Baby. That might be a lot.
This is true. Forcing the salve, I think. Yeah. It's by far.
It's looking pretty even in the mid so far. No one's taking a clear lead. Tiny not as much of a bully as he once was in these mid 1v1s, but Limp, with being a specialist hero, you could see a situation which he tries for a pick, especially considering we point in to dissimulate until probably 5.
He's running away. Oh, he has to be careful with his courier. Oh, thought he was going to continue committing with that.
Actually, DH. Ooh, nice save from out control. Definitely getting the worst for wear. And considering the way that Snap 5 builds, you're probably going to see a headdress coming out soon. And then this harassment that you try and achieve as the Skywrath is going to be alleviated. However, if he snipes your courier, no headdress anytime soon.
Has been killed.
Bit more difficult.
Ouch.
1 CS each for Team Nigma.
As we talk about the mid lane, I was waiting for something to happen here, and Limp struck instantly. Still no points to dissimulate. He saw the opportunity, and he brings down the Void Spirit in a solo kill.
We've already got this camp stacked up once. Ooh,
That's what we were waiting the whole time. Both these supports have been sitting on a sliver of HP each. And of course, in that situation, the Skywrath always has the advantage.
Absolutely easily able to finish it off. I think GH, yep, he's going for the neutral. That's 25 seconds though on the sidelines. They might try and put some pressure here onto Mind Control now that he's going to be sitting here on his own.
A bit tough now that he's up to level 3. In the meantime, you actually will see Kuro die top route as A3 does swoop in. Hanskin was able to assist with that glimpse play, which means at least you will be able to TP back to the lane without worrying about the glimpse back to base situation.
Nice pull being done by Fada though, trying to deny as much experience as he can. Now you've got GH though, TPing back to lane. He's got full health, full mana, and he's purchased up the magic stick and a couple of mangoes, so the harass is going to continue.
What we'd like to see. Don't want this static lane situation. Force the Medusa into a fight scenario, and maybe she can do some work. Miracle will be able to move away. Boyfree's always keeping him on his toes, though. It's just not a good lane for Lifestealer right now. Not with the changes, the way these heroes now interact. You don't take life away. You're a life fabricator.
Playing with fire a little bit, but realizing that he has those 10 stick charges. Seem to go to the absolute limit there.
And he's farming very well. Miracle's sitting top of CS so far. So despite the harassment, he is actually still getting his gold. And Void Spirit, extremely low, able to move away just in time. Limp is keeping the pressure on him all times. It's also just such a good hero for getting through this Resonant Pulse.
Just harassing him in every way he can.
Remind him. Just let him know that this is not his lane.
You got the bounties coming up in 10 seconds. No one moving from them yet outside of Hanskin. Gonna secure the 2 top side
bars jostling up and down everywhere. There's just back and forth aggression, and everyone just keeps getting so close to death. And you can see the mid lane right now. Either one could go down at this rate.
Oh, 3-3. He's sitting up on his own. Might be in a bit of trouble here.
They find him. Kuro gets the final tap. Nice little bit of cheddar in the change, and he can probably just go ahead and buy the boots if he wants to now, and there it is. So Kuro can now kite. Shouldn't be an easy pick off necessarily, which is one of the big issues you usually run into early as an AA.
These 2 mid laners, they completely leave the lane. I suppose both of them go on the bottle, and all this harass that's been going on means that pretty poor on their resources. Coming back somewhat healthy.
We have to burst really hard as the tininess lane, and the mana investment is the difference, right? So like once we get to the 6, this lane is not a threat, and because you're an int-scaling hero, you will be you will have enough to just do what you want, farm, and then go do something on the map.
Oh, who do the script gods favor? Oh, I hate to say it, but it's looking pretty ominous. Hanskin topside.
And the mid, Limp tries to bring down where he gets away, but in the top, just talking about Hanskin will go down. Miracle will TP away. He doesn't want to have any beef with 33. And yeah, I've got the little poll off we had. It turns out that Alliance has X-Kom in first place on that list, Nigma in second, and apparently something about a script is in first place with most votes. I'm just gonna close that. I'm not sure what that's about. Stun out. Potter will be started up, and this is a suicide mission right now. He won't get a chance to blow out that cookie though. Hanskin can bring the glimpse back though, and if he blocks here correctly, GH should be going down. But with the snake thrown out, Snake Lady gets us some extra gold. Understanding that the Timber can now be left alone. He doesn't rely on anyone to babysit him when he's up to level 5 in this lane. Not the same necessarily for Miracle though. He might need Kuro to hang around a bit longer.
How are these stacks going? Anything built up? I think just to the south of the Tiny in the mid lane is basically the only one that's been built up here.
Yeah, we haven't seen a high prioritization stacks since BO5 from what I've noticed.
Can see as we are rotating down towards this bot side. Okay, Hanskin out here.
Nico Baby is out of mana. This is gonna hurt. Stun perfectly time with the Aether Remnant's arrival. And then if to try and keep them away, Mind Control might go down first, but it's gonna be a trade nonetheless. And in the top lane, there's already pressure on the life stealer, but too quick to move away from 33. Down Tiny. Oh, that's an easy pickings. We'll try for the kill on the GH, or is it so easy? He could throw out this avalanche, but he sees a bigger opportunity. He goes for the kill on me instead. Like, fine, walk away. There needs to be one survivor to tell what happened in this bot lane.
Some hashtag value, and man, he's also going to get this Arcane Rune, or is he? You've got Mind Control looking to deny it, and very nicely done.
In with the yoink indeed, and we'll just sliver away after harassing Limp a little bit.
Oh, what's that? You wanted the Arcane Rune? No.
I mean, he's not going to do anything with it. He's just making sure Tiny can't with such a small mana pool. And then more importantly, missing out on those bottle charges. And now you can see the lanes have switched up a little. They have stuck Weeb bot. He wants to try and leverage his XP advantage to find some picks.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Have you seen this? You see where they just placed the ward in the Radiant jungle? A game today, I think it was Reality against Boom, and that tiny little area to the left of the ward, which is still kind of high ground, you can place a ward there, and it gives decent vision. So I think you might be able to dodge the sentry ward on the top, like the vision that gives, and put it down there, and still give pretty decent. It's not high ground, but it's like it's good vision.
Quite possibly. That's an interesting idea.
I haven't tested it yet.
Yeah, definitely something to try out. I still remember when teams in a qualifier decided to try out putting wards in these pits and then discovered they are as terrible as you'd think. You cannot see anything as it is low ground. You can also trap people in there. I think when the patch first dropped, this pit next to that spot, you could actually trap people in. They fixed it since, but you can still do things like pin people with spears to them.
I think we're going to see a lot of action happening now, or maybe Nigma will look to back off. It's approaching that 10-minute mark, and Alliance did not want to be without an outpost.
No, the XP, you look at all the heroes, they scale well. Like Tiny wants the full combo. Medusa just wants to actually increase bomb by having maxed out split shot, maxed out Snake. And then Timbersaw needs no explanation about why levels are so critical for this hero's success.
With that as well, getting closer and closer on the supports to their ultimates. Actually already has picked up on Fada here with the Snapfire, so can quickly turn it around, but GH should only be 1 or 2 creeps away.
And they might just use up Mind Control here. They can kinetic field them up, and then it's just a kill. I'll wait this out a little bit. Silence thrown out to Hanskin. He can survive for the moment. Nice slow. They don't even use the kisses to get the kill. They just bait him in. Mind Control thought he could do some work, and the kiss is coming out. The glimpse back as well. It's going to put GH close to them, but Hanskin able to sidestep in time, and they have just cooked some chicken in the bot lane. Still no response stop because Kuroki is still not 6. One more creep would do it, and there it is. They could try and make a play here. 33's not an easy target, but with a third hero maybe, but there's the chain away in time. Last will be thrown out and through, and will hit True, but he throws down the tree with the GG branch, trying to move away. It's not going to be quick enough. Limp has arrived though. A little bit too slow to get some vengeance, however, as they will back off.
It's really going in deep. This is a 1v4 situation.
I didn't realize that now. Maybe a little bit too late. This was greedy from Limp. He knows it. Hopefully he learns from it. But he didn't learn soon enough, as he will be brought down.
trying to take advantage of the space as much as possible. This mid lane pushing in. Off actually, nice use of the illusion rune to pull the creep wave back away from the tower, make it not so safe for Handskin and Fana.
Radiant's top tower.
More importantly though, it is out of direct. 33, he hit. He thought he could come back, they waited around for the ice blast. This is a long cooldown. It's actually even to your respawn time, so I dare you to come back again and see what happens.
Well, I guess it's at the stage of the game where they're like, look, we need to do stuff, some of it's going to be stupid, but Nico Baby's farming. He's taken an ancient stack at the moment, he's nearly level 10, so he's highest in the game, equivalent with Weeha. I think he's having an alright game. And that's really what it's about for them at this point.
It's just a matter of who has to be sacrificed, because yes, we've seen 33 die, but more importantly before that, right, we saw the painful experience for Limp. With that rotation top completely backfired, so his progression has been stunted a little, and you can see he just has to fall back to farm, and there isn't any picks anymore. Instead, now that you have the ultimates online, you will see Nigma the ones who are constantly rotating, and GH with his Invis rune is looking for someone now.
Look how deep Miracle is. He's farming right in there, and they actually catch him in a stun.
Confident, and I'm not sure why. Easy pickings for the side of Alliance, and the biggest kill they can find. Now on the sideline, that means that Medusa can start to build a lead over this Lifestealer.
Going straight into that Manda style, wanting to dispel a lot of the silence that's coming through, potentially the... What's the haze be dispelled? Yes, yes you can.
Yeah, you can get rid of that with the Manta. Also, you can use the Manta illusions to just tank the Aether Remnants as well. It has a lot of use in this game. It's a very good item. Just naturally good on Medusa. You want the Yasha anyway, it's such high value. Glimpse.
Oh, they glimpse him back.
Static Storm. And they'll throw the kisses. This is what we call a Shavon commitment. Why go in hard when you can shoot from afar? And now the Avalanche top combo. Some fall off again. They catch him out, and they're going to find a kill. This time on the voice for it. Lifestealer, you realize the combo can't be used on him, but he has to rage and run away as they do use the Stone Gaze to chase down. Toss forward is going to end before they can stone someone, but Nico Baby will chase on through, looking for the damage. GH has enough to finish him off. And on the other side, Miracle, forced to fight against his will fall as well as the Alliance strike back.
Triple kill for Nico. What a better way to take that sort of fight. Yes, it did require all the rotations from Alliance down bottom, but Nigma, they tried to respond in kind, and just a bit of better spell usage, a little bit too much of an overextension, and some good, like we were saying before, maneuverability, getting that early pick off onto the Slardar through the use of the glimpse. Big factor behind their victory in that team fight.
I mean, more importantly, you're playing into this situation Alliance wants, right? Like, the Medusa is being fed kills at that point, and what Alliance need to do is they need to actually fight you, right? They need to make sure the net worth lead is growing for the Medusa. There's never really a threat onto Nico Baby. It's just onto more heroes from the side of Nigma. And when they show up outnumbered, you can already see, even without the big spells, at this point, Alliance do have the means to chase down.
Here we go. They're looking to fight again.
They're going to trap them in. They don't want
very close to the Static Storm.
Limp is coming by. Just to say hi. And there's the glimpse back, but dodge out to dissimulate. They will be just staring at each other. Moving in onto Limp, Ice Blast coming through, everything Mystic Flare just to kill him off. It's going to be a trade as GH does die to Nico Baby. Hands could throw down the Static Storm as they all walk into it. The Stone Gaze was off cooldown. Hasn't been that long, but it will feel like a lifetime as Nico Baby now in trouble, way too deep. The kisses are coming out, all the spells available. Alliance didn't even need to stack them together. It's going to have some impact as he comes back into the kisses. Mind Control is brought down by 33. The chase is on board. Cookie gets dodged out by the range. Miracle looking to go back in on Nico Baby, who is out of mana and soon to be out of life if he doesn't get some assistance here. And with the Remnant, it's good enough control. Invested, he says, I can get you out in 10 seconds. But why go out when you can go in? As they will go deeper, looking for more. Drag on the Fada, brings him in. A Remnant, Cookies forward for the team, he says, for the Alliance, as he is felt. Nigma get the better side of the fight.
Pretty handy as well. They picked up the Philosopher's Stone that dropped for an Alliance kill, and it was picked up by Weeha there with the Void Spirits. So one tier 2 item extra going the way of Nigma. Just gives you that little bit of an extra advantage, and shows the importance of taking the fights on their terms. Just a couple of seconds off on the static storm meant that they had to take a disadvantageous fight a little bit closer towards, say, a more open area as opposed to one of these clear choke points. And we saw the question answered, which was about the dissimilate. The glimpse previously would have brought him back, but not anymore.
I think they answered the question too. I'm not sure they were entirely certain with that one, but they find out the hard way. And yeah, I think the biggest thing is that Philosopher's Stone. You lose out on that, and all of a sudden you're in a situation where you have this disrupt, you have the Snapfire, two supports that would love that golden take, especially Hanskin, who would want to get towards the Nags as quick as possible against this team. Now that's not an option.
I mean, Weegar's holding it right now because a lot of his damage is coming from this Resonant Pulse, which is just, magic damage. Don't need any sort of physical.
A little bit of extra shadow, and when he's done with it, you can just pass it over to your Skywrath, who, by the way, almost has the ATOS complete, just a few hundred gold off. And now there's the second Philosopher's Stone.
Dire's top tower.
We're sitting here going, how do I carry two? It's not an option.
Easy money.
Should be given over to the Skywrath most likely. Jump in. Speaking of Skywrath, he needs all the gold he can get now. He's dead. They use the kisses as well. They hard commit for this, but the response coming out. Static Storm is down. He does trap him, but he doesn't care. Who's trapped him with who? His limp is just brought down courtesy of the Shatter. And Mind Control will move forward, unable to find Fart as he gets away in time. And once again, Alliance unable to make the connect quick enough and get out in time.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And that big downside of taking team fights when the creep web is pushed next to your tower means that instantly that objective is taken by Nigma. And it's still looking a pretty even game. You can never count out a Medusa in this, and Nico Baby's been pretty good at dodging a lot of these team fights, farming when he's got the space, and it's just on the rest of his team to make sure that they're not dying unnecessary deaths and lessening the chances that he has to get this lead extended.
No, and the situation does exacerbate itself a little bit in terms of Nigma's favor in the next few minutes, because they're going to be going towards these Desolators. Once you have the Deso online, there's the first one coming out. You can look towards Roche, right? The only thing you're trying to now do is force out Snapfire's ultimate or just kill the rock. Sparta looks at the wrong place. This is the moment where they could just converge straight to tier if they want to, or you just push in, take tier 1 tower, maybe a tier 2.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
No hang around.
We talked about the target priority series, particularly in the last game with the Snapfire. Great choice to look to find where she would be on the backside and quickly pick her off. Only up in 10 seconds, so still has the potential for coming back and influencing this next fight, but I think Roche will go down way too quickly.
Absolutely way too quick. Even with a level 1 corrosive haze, now that you have that Deso with how they're hitting on the armlet life steal, we as well has the Christmas complete. Pick. Nothing you can do as well. You be going to that fight without a Medusa. Nico Baby is still not ready to fight.
Radiant's middle tower.
This is always the issue. Every time with Medusa, you look over, you're like, okay, how many more items? And it's always just one more.
We had just moved away from the smoke that was popped there, so not an ideal situation. Probably going to get spotted by this tower here, but Fada positioning himself relatively well again, where he died previously. This time, though, I think he's going to
got the life stealer inside him, though. I don't think they want to go on Weir in any situation. However, 23 is hanging around a little bit too long.
Counter smoke coming through, but they're going in completely different directions.
They should realize this very quickly. This should be the moment where 33 doesn't... I don't think you can farm this wave. It has to be cool right now from your team going, okay, they're not here. We've de-warded, but they're completely missing from the map. Don't show.
Now he's not going to show. Surely.
You can see the moment where he turned around like, what creep.
Should I?
We could get a tier 1 tower out of it.
What's the worst that could happen?
Heard that one too many times, and every time I wake up with a hangover and regret.
Valentine's.
Not so much that, maybe. I don't know. There's plenty of people in Twitch chat that can relate. You'll probably get drunk, but you don't worry about the regret in the morning. Or the regret that leads to the drinking.
Like, that's Future Pidge's problem.
That's Future... I think I'm more concerned about what Future Alliance's problem here is, because it's looking like they might not have a future in this qualifier at this rate. 5,000 net worth lead already building. Nigma in control. And you don't have any answers soon. Yes, you've got a Medusa on the high ground. It's just a matter of if you get caught out of the base, close to the base, as you mentioned earlier when they took that tower, the speed at which this lineup hits towers, you lose the Medusa close to your base, you're going to lose a lane. And they're going to lose 33 at this rate.
Oh, no.
Not the quickest kill, so there's the remnant. They do force out the stone gate, so they will completely retreat. That's all they want. It's a little hit and run. And that right there is value cloak, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Yes, it's hard to say who has the higher burst damage potential right now, because a disproportionate amount of the net worth is on both of these position ones. Oh, spam.
Kisses. Not a hard commitment, but this might backfire against them as they get nothing. And now you have no kisses for the big fight. I feel like I can never emphasize this enough. This is the thing with kisses, right? Like, this tells you how far behind Alliance feel right now. Is when you commit kisses like that, it's very low expectation. Because you know it's a slot over a pipe already.
Yeah.
And it's only level 1 kisses. So now you don't even have the full potential damage output when you get into a big team fight. And you might lose even more as Hanskin gets found out. It'll just fall. It won't be worth committing the static storm. That's going to be a tier 2 tower full, and Nigma's going to take another one.
Now Alliance are in a very bad position, because not only do you have to fight into an Aegis against a core that honestly you don't have a ton of answers to in the Lifestealer, he's also got the Halberd, so all the damage that's potentially going to kill him, you have to kill him twice through a Halberd, which is next to impossible.
Yeah, you can just see how very casually he comes down from his tiny airlines experience and immediately just starts hitting tower. It just doesn't phase him. And this is, of course, is with armor off. If he sees Tiny jump in, he'll just switch armor on and live long enough. That will go down. Cookie gets dodged out by the Rage.
Dire's bottom tower.
It's tempting to actually invest to heal up, but they'll just back away. There's no rush here. They get a tower. They back off. You got some gold to spend. Wait with the next wave. Heal up by the time you arrive. Have a lunch. Toss. Miracle says, what was that? Did someone just stop me for 2 seconds from hitting buildings? Big problem, actually. Gets caught out here.
It's an Aegis.
That's true, but this might be the back off, and you would have liked a lot more of this first Aegis. The Stargate's going to go down. The kisses are coming out. Barb Line toss already.
That's a lot.
Oh, and Alliance strike back. The kisses won't reach much further. Kuro moving away with that Glimmer Cape will be able to TP out successfully. They only lose the Lifestealer, but Alliance have repelled the forces of Nigma out of their base.
Great crowd control coming from Alliance as well. I was talking about the difficulty in killing the Lifestealer. It doesn't really make a difference if you can't get that Heaven's Halberd off onto the Deucer while she's dealing all this damage through to you. So, maybe going a little bit too far there, and the return for taking a tier 3 tower, not as big as it used to be.
That's the summarizing thing. When you actually look at the map, there's still a tier 2 in the mid, right? So, Nigma, they aren't going to get much else out of that. You can actually see the way the push is waning because they only commit the Lifestealer at the front. And this Lifestealer, while he is fairly farmed and Miracle is having a great game, it's not your 18,000 net worth Lifestealer, right? Where he's bulked up a bit more. He has the XP advantage as well. And he's just this unassailable tank.
Mm-hmm. Continuing to build up into the armor here on the Timbersaw. Got the plate mail queued up after finishing up the Lotus Orb. Potentially thought about, you know, will he finish up the Hood of Defiance at least? Maybe not necessarily a pipe, but just the Hood to make it a lot harder to kill him in particular.
I think you just keep the casual Hood with the Branches, right, because of the Skyraft threat. But right now, it's just at the armor state of things. If he gets hit by the Deso and a Corrosive Haze, and he doesn't have maxed out reactive armor, he just melts in the blink of an eye with the amount of damage they have. So I can understand that the plate melt takes priority in this situation. And then you probably at that stage just take out the cloak because you have 2 braces. Alternatively, you can just get rid of one of the braces now, as you're about to hit 15 as well. So
yeah, definitely sacrifice their farming capabilities on the Lifestealer to go for this style of pick-off, to go for this tower-taking potential. You know, you've got the Basher queued up. Oh,
that one as well. Jump in, Bot almost dead, moving away, wiggling off the low storm to try and reduce the damage, but he's going to go down the cookie. What?
Nice static.
By the way he died. Static storm is going to be good. BKB chase the kisses around a miracle. They're trying to seclude him from the team. The glimpse back to make sure he has no reinforcements, and he will go down. Guru even might die on the exit as they're chasing for 33. If he can keep eyes on, they've got the glimpse in 7 seconds. Once again, Nigma punished for this aggression. You were trying to highlight about their builds, right? They've gone for this go in, this commitment. It's not going to farm as hard as this Medusa, so they understand if you try and race a Medusa in the late game scenario, you lose. You have to go for active items now, and it is backfired twice for Nigma.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the decision to go before the basher was completed, premature from them, thinking that, you know, we've got the jump. Medusa might be slightly out of position, we might be able to catch someone, but they didn't have any vision up on the high ground, so them feeling particularly confident was a little bit perplexing.
And you can see why Alliance feel confident. You said they don't have any vision. Alliance like, damn right they don't. The amount of sentries laced in this area, and as I'm talking about that disruptor, well, he got the outpost. It's a little bit soon.
Which gets taken back.
Maybe he's as bad at counting as me and doesn't see that it's not 30 minutes yet. Nah.
Let's not talk about counting.
Hey, counting's hard. Okay. Sometimes you just want blood. All right, I'll give you numbers right now. 18-17 is the kill score right now. Net worth lead while in Nigma's favor. Just scrap that away. All right, this kill score is right now is closer representation of the state of this game. Either team could actually come out swing at the end of this one and head over to the Star Ladder Miner. And when you think about the scaling potential as well, there is potential on both sides. You can never rule out the Medusa, as you said, who's queued up the Divine Rapier. That powerhouse could lead you to victory. At the same time, Nigma, they still have this 2-core combo with the crit build on Wii, with the way he's going towards this Bloodthorn next. He's gonna have that relevance, and of course, Lifesteal needs no explanation. He just needs to get that basher online so he actually has some lockdown of his own.
Oh man, that Rapier, that's going to be the game changer. Obviously, the only item left in the game that gives that true strike really effective this time around. And you have to think, you know, with this build that 3-3's going, he's got the 4-staff queued up. Would it be better for him to try going for the pipe so that you have that little bit of extra magic resistance for the Dusa and the block as well? Or is the maneuverability in teamfights going to be the big thing for them? Haven't got a Hurricane Pike just yet, I don't believe, unless it's coming out to him. But just the Dragon Lance he feels important for right now.
I think it's the fact that the Medusa went for the BKB, right? And you know Tiny should be tanky enough to be fine. So you're like, oh, I can just get, you know, standardized utility, right? Give you that mobility and an orb destruction coming up for Nico, baby. That's the thing, like, this BKB is the game changer. The fact that he has this, you've seen the way these fights are approached, right? Nigma can't actually reach the Medusa anymore. And the difference in that matchup right now, and the reason Rapier is so good on this hero, well, it's always been a great item, but the reason you pick it up so early now is the change to Stone Gaze. That movement speed change of 50% now gives you the ability to chase down and actually use that Rapier. The issue with Medusa for a long time, I'm trying to explain to you, Matt, is this fact you get late game, you can't even have your boots anymore. You're like, well, I'm stacking Rapiers, guys. So everyone just runs away from you.
Yeah. That's the thing. Do they have the potential to run away from them? You know, you've got this Tiny that's going to be blink, tossing people back in. You've got 4-star for maneuverability. You've got the glimpse. Very, very difficult. And then you've also got a Timbersaw chaining in after you. You've got a Snapfire that can give the extra mobility through the cookie. And then even if it is long range, you've got the kisses. So, you know, Alliance are looking pretty decent right now. It's just a matter of, are they going to be caught out of position and Nigma be able to get... Now they've got the basher. Now they've got the potential to pick someone off before these key abilities can come out. And want to make sure that it's as hard to read as possible, trying to push out this lane before they go.
And you can tell this is a team decision the way they do it, because you mentioned the item build that Limp had gone for, right? He understands there's clearly a call probably a few minutes ago where he said, I'm not gonna be a powerhouse, right? I can't build in this right-click build. There's no conversion point for me right now. So what do I do to make your game work, Nico, baby? And he sat there, reflected for a moment. Rapier.
It's coming. He hasn't... he's actually purchased the Demon Edge portion of it. I like it. Nice. This is what they need. They need to get on the backline. 3-3's not that backline, though.
And that's straight away. My control, like, nope. Nope, I just want to see
not the one
around here. Tell me who is in this neighborhood. No one you want to say hi to.
If that was a disruptor or a snapfire, I think they would have committed.
Yeah, but now Alliance, it's their turn to smoke. They need to be quick here. It's Roche
They've got the Korea giving vision.
They're not quick enough though. They're going to try and actually maybe just submit the fact that the Aegis won't be in their hands, but they can punish them here. In this choke point, this could be huge for them, even if the Aegis is in the hands of opponents. Limb jumps in. Aegis being picked up though, forced up away, and Limb will be almost dead. The kiss is coming through. They'll get rid of the Skywrath. 1-for-1 trade right now. Limbs is going to come out, dragging him back towards the Snow Gate. Medusa, Nico Baby activates the BKB, brings down mind control as well. Fireback will come out from Tiny. He says now's the time to fight. We slashing through. Limb with the kills. Hands get controlled up, will be brought down, and they're starting to go in favor of Nigma. Miracle surges forward towards Nico Baby, who has no way to protect himself anymore. The controller's out. The Ice Blast comes in. Limb gets flipped as well. Medusa's going to be brought down, dead for 80 seconds. And the chase is on. Limb retreats towards the base. They leave behind the timber. He says, go. There's no way out for me. Ultra kill for we. No one left around for the rampage. But now they have an Aegis to pivot off and a Medusa dead for 80 seconds. And they would have noticed that Demon's Edge.
And oh man, it's just the difference that literally 1 second can make. He blinks in just after they finish it. Could have gone for the snatch, knowing that the Tiny had the open inventory slot available, so he didn't have that bracer handy. That little bit of extra magic resist, that little bit of extra HP could have been the difference between having to buy back and not. So one decision could be the thing that unfortunately causes Alliance to bow out at the last stage of this minor qualifier.
And it's one of these type of scenarios where you could have potentially used the kisses to just set up that zone of destruction. So Nigma friend, right? You could have done prematurely. But it shows you the state of the game for Alliance. That they need every element at their disposal to drop Nigma's members. So if they throw out the kisses and they use it more as a scouting tool, and it's wrong, and that cool is wrong is spotted out, instantly they can no longer fight for 110 seconds. And that is the struggle for Alliance. As you said, just a second difference between it being a good move and a bad. And just the issue we sometimes see for teams, right? Where they try and over-rotate the wrap. Like, you can see a moment where they were considering just going up into the dire high ground before committing. And it backfires hard for them as a result of that. And now Nico Baby, his only choice, try and see if his team can buy enough time that he can complete this race